So, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Shaktiji. Thank you for the opportunity to meet your students today. I always, love to interact with the young minds. They have lots of new ideas. Good morning to all the students. Please mute yourself. Yeah. So, today I will be taking you through a session on identifying the problems for the future innovations. See, innovations, they always arise when people have the knack, when people have the ability to find out the problems which are being faced in our society. But what is this society consisting of? And how do we identify the problems? I will tell all the students today to listen very carefully and see how the problems are being identified, which will help you to come up with the solutions in our next session. This session is only for the purpose of problem identification. We are not going to solve any problem at this stage. We will only identify the problems, and these problems that you will identify today will enable you to come up with the innovative solutions in our next session, which will happen very soon, right? So this session, we are only focusing on problem identification. So what are these? What is the society? What is the society consisting of? The society that we live in, it consists of the people who are driving on the roads, the villagers, the people in rural areas. It consists of domestic workers. It consists of many other workers. I mean, if you just click on this, on the mind map, you will know what the villagers are, and who are the people in the village. For example, farmers, people who are the flood victims, people who are in the forests, who are cutting trees, people who are harvesting, the artisans, etc., etc. If you see the domestic workers, who are these people? This is consisting of our society. The people who are your maidservants, the car cleaners, the gardeners, milkmen, carpenters, delivery boys, and plumbers, right? This is all our society. And who are these other workers? The other workers are the people that you see every day in their day-to-day activities. The fuel station workers, the street cleaners, the painters in your house, the courier boys, the masons, carpenters. This is all consisting of our society. The weavers, the porters on the railway station or in the hotels, the cooks, the packers, the welders, the tailors. These are all people. They were supposed to solve our problems. But have you thought about their problems? What are the problems do they face? The road workers and the waiters in the restaurant. This is our society. But if I tell you people, to all the students, to find out the problem in the society, it becomes very difficult without this kind of a mind map. The workers who are there in the industry, but who are these people? Simply expand them. Can you see the number of workers who are there around us? The factory workers, the construction workers, right? The workers in the steel industry. There's so many industrial workers which are there, the professionals. You can identify the lawyers, the teachers, the interpreters, the bankers, the coast guards. All these people, we have to innovate for them. The shopkeepers that we have, the hawkers that you meet every day, the vendors that you see, the shopkeepers, the traders, all these people are consisting of the society for whom you have to resolve their problems. The people in the airlines industry. Who are these people? Do you know what are the problems of the pilot or the air hostesses or people who are at the airport security, who are checking you before you enter, right? The passengers in the flight and the airport staff. So we have categorized them in such a way so that it becomes easy for you to expand these ideas. So what are the problems of, let us say, the working mothers today? Many of the students, their mothers would be working and they know how difficult it is to handle the children. So if you have any solution for them, simply pick up the subtopic and write your answers here. But not at this stage. We will come back to this stage in our second program that we will be doing. People who are sportsmen. Have you ever thought about the problem of a gymnast, the problem of the hikers, or the problem of gym trainers, the problem of swimmers, or the weightlifters, right? It is very, very important for you to understand that this is actually consisting of our society. The tourists, the rail passengers, right? People who are travelers, right? So all this and people with different income levels. What are the problems of people who are rich? Rich does not mean that they don't have issues, they don't have problems. The problems of middle class, the problems of poor people. This is what our society consists of. But if you have any other thing that you want to add to this, it is very simple. Go to the center of the mind map and add point number 15, 16, 17, 18, if you find that something is missing over there. So you can add any of the ideas to this that you want to, right? So very, very simple and very dynamic process. But let us today, when we were doing, the exercise for Tata Motors, I want to present to you how the problem identification was done for the people on road. Now just click on this mind map. As you click over here, you will be able to see that for people on road, when we did a workshop for Tata Motors, these are the problems that people face. You can see there are 55 problems which have been mentioned on this particular mind map. And I will, please mute yourself. Mute yourself, yeah. So you can see that, what are the various problems? This identification has already been done. Number one problem is the safety of the school children. Now, your job is to find out if there is any other problem which is there. Is the driver driving rashly? Is the driver having any other problem? Is there no attendant over here? Is the safety an issue? So your job is to expand these mind maps. The number two problem that you have over here is this one, driving in the foggy conditions. So Tata Motors was trying to find out how can we create technology solutions to prevent these problems. The basis of innovation, the basis of any innovation is in trying to identify a problem and then resolve it. Now, you would have seen that in the foggy conditions, there are many cars which meet with the accident, one after another, because people can't see ahead. How do you, your next challenge is basically going to, how do you find out the solution? The second very important thing is the absence of the road signage. There are no road signages. They don't say that there is a diversion when the construction is going on. They don't say that the road ahead is closed and people meet with unnecessary accidents. The next challenge that you see on the road is the way to ambulance. The ambulance gets stuck up in a jam and there are patients inside. What is your idea? So you can simply write, if you want to expand this further and say that, people getting stuck up in the jams, or there are no separate roads for the ambulance. In the Western countries, there are separate roads which are made for the ambulance so that the ambulance never stops. So please come up with these ideas of yours. When identify the problem first. You may like to add any other point by simply expanding these mind maps. The next mind map is there are bridges without the barriers. And many times in the news, you would have seen that, the car has fallen off the bridge because there were no proper barriers made over there. Right? This is the problem. This is a major problem which leads to the loss of life. And all these problems can be easily resolved. The students have got very active minds and they must come up with some great ideas. And if they have some great ideas, these ideas will be definitely taken by some of the best companies in the world. including Tata Motors and BMW and Volkswagen. They're all working for Vision Zero. Today, the most important objective of any car maker is Vision Zero. And what does Vision Zero means? Vision Zero means zero accidents. So next time when you or your parents, they travel by the car, you have to ensure that they come back home. You have to ensure that they're absolutely safe and sound, and there are absolutely no problems. The problem with the overcrowded rickshaws, only 4 people are supposed to sit, and you would find that there are 10 people sitting in an auto rickshaw. How will you resolve this problem? And I can tell you that each and every problem can be resolved with your innovative thinking, right? There is a problem that many times you're driving and your battery drains out and you are stuck up in a place. What do you do in that case? Some of the car makers have resolved this problem by giving you a sign on your dashboard that your battery is going to drain in the next about 7 days or so. You can take action. But in many cases, this signage is not there. How will you resolve the problem of the bike riders without the helmets? Despite the rule being there, there are many people who go on the bike without the helmets and on the scooters without them, resulting into casualties and very serious head injuries and fractures. So it is very important for all the students to first of all have a knack and a mindset of developing the, first of all, identification of the problems. And one of the solutions for the people without the helmet is that if the bike does not sense you, that you are putting on a helmet, the engine will not start, right? So how technologies can prevent all these accidents? If you are not putting on a helmet, your bike engine will not start. Right? So that is a foolproof method of protecting the person. He cannot go without the helmets. Another challenge that you face is that the person met with an accident because of the brake failures. Now, Tata Motors is trying to work out a method which will predict a brake failure and inform the driver well in advance to change his shoe brakes. This is called predictive analytics. So that there is never a brake failure and an accident by the brake failures. You would have seen that, in news many times that this person was not able to apply the brakes or his brakes had failed and he, ran so many people. It is very important. Innovation does not start without a problem. So you please try to identify. Now, these problems have already been identified. That the trash throwers, there are some people, who are eating in the car and they land up throwing things, outside the car. Now, this can again, create a lot of disturbance for the traffic or for people, who are coming from the opposite direction. The sprinklers can go in their eyes and, the food particles can be here and there, the plastic and the packet, all these things. How do you avoid this? One is, of course, change of habit, but how does your innovative solution avoid this habit? A big problem, the headlight beams at the night when you are driving, it flashes in your eyes to blind your eyes, for the drivers who are coming from the opposite direction. You would have noticed many a times that, the light of the car coming from the opposite direction completely blinds you and you are not able to see anything on the road. How will the technology help in resolving this particular issue? Or how will your innovative solution help you in coming out with a solution to this particular problem? Then there are people who are driving with their mobile phones on. They're looking at their mobile phones and they're driving. The reckless drivers. How do you end? And this again is the cause of many of the accidents on the roads. So please try to identify, what are the various problems that different sections of the society and different people on the road are facing today. The next problem is the animals crossing the road. Many a times, the animals crossing the road are very dangerous. You're driving at a very, very high speed, and you find that, you've crushed the animals. And then, the people who are behind you also meet with the accidents. Cyclists who are again driving without any kind of the helmets or any kind of the backlights, any kind of the front lights. It disturbs the people who are coming from the opposite direction. So very important for you to figure out. Many a times you would have gone to the petrol pump and paid, let us say, 1,000 rupees, but the petrol you got was only for 500 rupees. Because there is so much of pilferage. The quantity was not right. Sometimes the quality is not right. What is your innovative solution to end this problem? There can be a system, where whatever money you have paid, only that quantity is delivered by the dispensing pump. And it is very simple to introduce that system. So the person who is there is never able to cheat you. The safety rules. There are no markers on the road many a times for the pedestrian. Pedestrians' rights are very important. All these challenges are extremely important for the people who are on road today. The overcrowded parking places. This creates a very, very different situation for us. And you see, since the parking is overcrowded, you will find that your vehicle is torn away because of the wrong parking areas. How do you resolve these challenges? These are major problems which are existing for the community and maximum people. There is nobody today who does not, living in the city, who does not have to face these issues. The unattended accident victims. There are some people who hit and run. They hit the person and they run away. But a very important thing over here is that, a little bit of help and taking him to the hospital can really save his life in time. Because that is, the most critical aspect over there. How do we make sure that anybody with the accident is immediately attended? So what is your solution for that? We will come to all these things little later. The CO2 which the traffic police inhales, can you imagine? The traffic police standing on the road, he's actually sitting inside a CO2 bomb. Can you imagine his health? While he is there to solve our problem, who is there to solve his problem? That is a question that you have to ask. And you have to always come with this solution. The people who solved our problems, who is going to solve their problems? There are many times, you would have seen that, the child is left in the car. And this has created many serious situations in the past. How do you ensure that these things, they never happen? How do you ensure that the car sounds an alarm sensing a child inside the car to the outsiders when the car is locked? It is very important signal to people who are passers-by so that they never face a problem of risk in life. Very important issues. There are people who are rash truck drivers habitually. How is it that you prevent them by overcharging on their insurance policies? I'm just giving you some of the tips so that next time you come with your solutions, you link it up with many of the other ideas. There is a way of finding out the rash driver. And if the insurance company finds out that, there is a way that, he's penalized. There are many other problems. There are old cars, or there are cars with CO2 emissions, beyond the prescribed limits. How do you ensure that these cars never hit the roads? Imagine Tata Motors is trying to work to resolve all these problems. And that is why today they say that Tata Punch is one of the most safest cars that they have come out with. They are not talking about luxury. They are not talking about designs. They are talking about the safety, which is the most important issue. I mean, what is the luxury going to do for you when the life is not safe? So the whole concept today of the car makers have completely changed. There's another problem. Many times you will find that the taxi drivers have refused you. Now, you have to wait for a very long time. How do you handle this problem? Many times you book a cab, even on the Uber and the Ola, and the person has refused you. And you have to go to the airport very fast. Find out an innovative solution to such problems. How do you penalize such drivers? Then the problem of car theft. You know, there are many cars which are stolen today. Suddenly you park the car and you find that, you know, your car has been hijacked. How can technology prevent this? How can you put a sensor which gives you the location of the car? So you know that my car is in the safe area or hasn't been picked up by anyone. Or there is a kind of an alarm the moment somebody tries to break away from the lock systems or tries to fiddle with the other systems of the car. Or there are fingerprints which senses the owner. So nobody should be able to do all these things. All these problems the technology can prevent today. So I'm telling the students, first of all, to know what these challenges are. First of all, be aware of the problem before you solve it. That is a very, very important area for everyone. Another problem is that you find that the person is going to the office alone. In the morning time, you would have noticed that, you know, he's going to the office alone and he's coming back alone. But there's only one single person in the car. Can you create a car which can be attached or detached? So whenever he needs to, add a family, he can simply attach the car and 4 people can go together. So which problem do you think it is going to solve? It is going to solve the tremendous parking problem which is there. So instead of parking a 4-wheeler, the person is actually going to park a 2-wheeler, which can be extended whenever it is needed. So when you are thinking about innovation, always try to see, is it required for only one person to drive the car alone to the office? His fuel consumption is very high. But what if you create a folding car or an attachable or a detachable car which joins into 2 pieces? So I think I would like to give you a similar kind of a project for this session. All the students who are there, they should pick up this project and try to create one concept of a folding car. That is your exercise for today. And all the students who are there, they must come up with the drawings, the designs, the concept, how will it work, how the people will attach it, how it will be detached, and all that. Well, you would have seen, the Toyota Hilux or the Hilux, how it is attached or how it is detached, right? But that is the bigger car. In Africa, they can attach a house to your car. They attach a tent to your car. So whenever you are going for an adventure in the jungle, you find that your whole family can sleep in the tent that you have created. So why not get some inspiration from those kind of projects? Why not think that if a house can be attached to a car, why cannot I create a car which can be attached and detached to increase my capacity? What if you want to make your 4-seater a 8-seater tomorrow? Not only 2-seater into a 4-seater. I'm saying think of creating a 2-seater into a 4-seater and a 4-seater into a 6-seater. A 6-seater and a 8-seater. So what are those attachments? I hope the students are getting all this. So this is one of the projects that I want to give you and create a wonderful concept of this car. And I'm sure Shakti Madam, with our design innovation mind maps, will be able to help you. She has all the templates. How do you create a design innovation? All the mind maps are there with her. So students, this is one of the projects that I have for you. And I would want everybody to present their a concept of an attachable or a detachable or a folding car, whatever is there, to us in the next about 1 week's time. Take 7 days, but in 7 days before our next session starts, your project of creating a folding car is there. All right. So we move to the next problem. Now, you would have noticed there are many people who are waiting for the buses. The daily passengers who commute in the buses. Please try to find out what are their problems and how can you resolve this particular problem. Waiting for long duration, that is very stressful. How do you avoid that? Right? And the next thing over here is, by the way, you know that this driving alone to work, this challenge was taken up by the Delhi government and they came out with some kind of a solution which said that today only the odd numbers will go out and tomorrow the even numbers will go out, right? But that is not actually a right solution. How do you ensure carpooling by many people going in the same directions? The next problem in the auto industry is the problem that suddenly a landslide happens, right? And the whole traffic actually becomes, it is completely blocked for a very long duration. What are your solutions? Can the information about the landslide that has happened be given to the people who are coming? Because today one of the problem is that Google Map is not able to sense whether there is a landslide on that road or not, or whether there is a blockage on that road or not. There are great problems. It does not sense a landslide. So can we create a technology which will inform the person, who is coming on that way, not to take that road, that there is a landslide? The problem of the people who travel by metro, the challenges are many. What the biggest problem that you would have noticed is the heavy vehicles, the trailers, the large trucks. They occupy the whole road. They don't travel in the lane. And this makes it very difficult for the car drivers to drive on the roads. How would you stop? How will you ensure that all these heavy vehicles are traveling in one lane so that the people who are driving in the cars, they don't face any problem? If you have ever driven on the NH8, you must have seen that these trucks and trailers, they block all the lanes, making it very difficult for the other car drivers to drive safely on the roads and resulting into many delays. How will you create a discipline? How will you ensure that, innovatively these problems are solved? So please identify, pick up some of the students, their minds might have already started working. Some of the teachers. There is a great risk of the accidents when you're trying to overtake from the wrong side. Now, is there a technology which prevents the overtaking from the left-hand side? Is there a driver overriding system which prevents you to overtake the car from the left-hand side? Think about these problems. Think the risk that you are going to avoid. The challenge of people who are patients on road, many times, not only the ambulance. There are cases when a family member is not well and you want to take the family member by your own car to a hospital and you are stuck up in a jam. And many times you must have noticed, you have read in the news that because of the traffic jam, the person lost his life. Is there a way? Is there a solution that you young minds, you have in mind? Because the young minds, they have all the solutions today. They're born in a technology era and their minds are most active at this stage. Imagine when you're driving on the hilly roads, the blind spots. You cannot see on the left-hand side of the hill what is happening, right? Is there a method that the picture on the blind spots is communicated to you by the cloud platform? There can be a cloud, there can be a satellite camera which gives you the pictures of the hills to the driver so that he knows that there is some mishap which has happened and he has to be very careful. Think about the technologies which you can bring in. You people are born in technology era and you have some excellent tech ideas for the innovation. Imagine a phone addict. You know, he's so addicted to his phone that he does not even see a barrier on the road or a light signal and he hits it. How do you resolve these challenges? How will you stop his phone addiction when he's crossing the road? Recently, you would have seen in Mumbai, there are cars which have gone to the drowned because the people could not sense whether there was a road ahead or not. And this waterlogging happens in many cities in India. This is the second project that I want to give to all the students. Can the car be saved? Can there be a sensor which will tell the people, the drivers, that this is not the safe road to be taken? You know, there may be completely a big pothole over there, or the road may be bad. A second project for the student is, how do you save the car in the waterlogged conditions? That is the second project which I give it to you. So the students who want to take up this project can work out a method. The next problem is, in the rainy season, many a times there are huge traffic jams because the traffic lights are not working. What is the substitute that you have? Do you have any substitute? And I'm sure many of the students and teachers, they have faced these problems. Every day we face these problems, but we have to come out with these solutions. That is what an innovator is. The difference between the innovator and the other person is that the innovator tries to resolve a challenge. So what do you do when the traffic lights are not working and there are no police attendants? Please find out a technology solution for this. What is the substitute that you're going to create? Recently you saw Cyrus Mistry was killed because he was not putting on the seat belt at the rear. A major accident, and we lost a major personality of India. How do you want to end this? And now the traffic police has come out with the rule that, you have to put on a seat belt even when you're sitting behind. While the rules are important, the problem is with the unruly people, people who are not in the habit of following these rules. What is your tech solution? What if the car does not start? If the seat belt is not on? Or it keeps on beeping a noise or a sound system, which is irritating when you're driving. There are people who are reckless pedestrians. You put on your music and you try to go on the roads or you try to cross the roads. You don't hear the horns. These are some great problems that are being faced by many people in different countries. So let me tell you, when you resolve any of these problems, you will not only be resolving the problem for people in India, you will be resolving the problem for people all over the world. And your solution will be adopted by the world's best car making companies. So please take this exercise very seriously and try to find out the solutions to all these problems. This mind map will be shared by your faculty and teachers, very soon. So you don't have to take any note, but try to understand the problems first. The, unnecessary honking, the noise pollution, you know that you cannot go ahead, and still people are in the habit of, honking. And people who are living in the residential localities, you can imagine their plight. It becomes difficult for them to live. I'm sure some of you must have experienced this when you are traveling to school by the bus. There is so much of unnecessary honking that goes on. It is not required. The roads have to become noiseless. How do you develop those habits? In Japan, people don't honk at all. You will never listen to a horn. The sound of the horn in Japan is not there. You only listen to the sound of the horn in the car making factory, which is testing the car, if the horn is working or not. That is the discipline that people have in Japan. But here in India, I think people are just on their horns. They keep on blowing it. They know that there is a traffic jam and they keep on blowing the horns. So it is extremely important that we come up with the right innovative solutions for this. Traffic jams. From Bangalore to city, it takes 2 hours. From Mumbai to city, it takes 2 hours. The cities are full of cars. How do you avoid the traffic jams? The lane driving is not there. People come from the opposite directions. How do you stop a person who is coming from the direction in which he is not supposed to come? So try to come up with the solution. And a person who is coming from the opposite direction is like an explosive, like a bomb, which can explode anytime. You would have seen a scooter coming from the wrong side. The car coming from a direction which is not supposed to come. That leads to these car crashes, right? Overloaded trucks, construction closures, bottlenecks. Many times, we are stuck for hours because a new flyover is being made. The potholes which are created because of the construction which damages your cars. And the road rage. Suddenly, if an accident happens, people start fighting with each other. They start killing each other. How do you prevent them? The red light jumping. People who do not follow the red lights, they meet with many accidents. And suddenly you will find that, there is an accident that has happened. The next problem is drunken driving. People are drunk and there are many hit and run cases. Can you prevent a drunken driver to drive the car? Can there be a sensor which can sense his alcohol level and stop the engine? The breakdowns, and there are no service which is available. Drowsy driving. You must have read in the news that in Noida, the bus driver slept, killing so many people in the bus. Can you sense the drowsiness of a driver? Can you alarm? Can you sound the alarm? Can the autonomous driving take the car from the driver and drive for the next 5 minutes and park it safely? There are many people who are driving at night. All these people, they might sleep because you are humans. You might become tired. The overspeeding tendencies, a long waiting time on the toll, right? The charging stations for electrical cars. Supposing the battery gives way in a jungle, what are you going to do? Can you create a drone which can go and replace? Well, this is what was a session today for you to find out how the problems are identified. You should go to the next sections and find out what are the problems of the villagers. Next section, to find out the problem of workers, industry workers, the problems of professionals. What are their problems? Once you find a problem, that is $1 million idea. This is what was the objective of today's session. In our next session, we will tell you how to solve these problems. But right now, I would like to give the next 10 minutes to all the participants to ask anything that they want to, or any comments that they have to, so that this program becomes very meaningful. So you can unmute yourself one by one. If any student is there who wants to, how do you feel this session was beneficial to you? Do you have any ideas? Do you have any better ideas for the problem that was stated today?
Yes. Good morning, sir.
Yeah,
sir, I would like to say something before you leave. Yeah. On the behalf of all the PIET Hudda students. Thank you, sir. It was an amazing session and we learned a lot. We learned about the problems faced by the society on roads, industries, etc. And we'll definitely work on their innovative solutions till the next session. Thank you, sir.
Very good. I'm very happy to know that, the session really helped you all. And yes, next, please. Yes, Shruti ji. Anyone else who wants to speak about something about the session, the students, if they have any questions, anyone?
Any student want to ask anything?
Yeah, I would like to know from the teachers and students.
Yeah, any teacher? Teachers who are personally dealing with the students for such type of innovation can also ask the question if they are having any issues.
Yeah, please. Yeah, please speak up. Yeah. Any student? Any student?
Ma'am, Arpana ma'am.
Please interact.
Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes.
Ma'am, please.
Ma'am, this session was enlightening for sure. And it was really, really helpful. I hope we will allow the students to have, think about it more. And if they have any sessions, we can have a, follow-up session regarding the same. And for sure, few students want to interact. I'll just hand over the mic to them.
All right. Very good. I would like to interact with the students. Yeah. How have they benefited?
Sir, I like machine technology and robots, but how can I generate my ideas about it?
Yes, in our next session, when we come to the session on resolving these problems, we will certainly discuss this. But I want to know from you, have you been able to look at these problems today, and are you thinking about resolving them?
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right. So anyone else who has any doubts? Anyone else who wants to ask any other question? These mind map will be shared by Shakti Madam with all the students so that you can expand these mind maps to identify the problems of different people in the society. So you have to find out their problems now. We have not identified their problems. So what are the problems of the washerman? What are the problems of the car cleaners? What are the problems of the milkman? Right? Please come up with the innovative solutions. They consist of our society. What is the problem of so many workers that you see today? How will you resolve their problems? So please,
excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I'm Yashika this side. And sir, I would like to ask that what are the parameters of checking if our idea is feasible or not?
That will be given to you in the next mind map. It is called idea validation. Okay. So when you have resolved a problem, in our next mind mapping session, we'll tell you how to validate your idea. But not in this session. This session was exclusively for people who do not have the ideas for innovation and they're looking for the ideas. The ideas will come from the problems of the sections of society. Okay? The
Yes,
idea,
sir.
yes.
I will really be looking forward for it.
Yes, I hope today's session was beneficial for you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, Praveen sir.
Yes, sir. It was really indeed a very enlightening session. Thank you so much, sir, for having the session and having some time for school students who really don't know anything, and now from scratch they have understood how we can generate ideas. We can check whether the solution is available, how we can generate mind maps and all that stuff. Thank you so much, sir. We will looking forward to the next session, sir, for sure.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Praveen sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Have a great
And
day.
I request both of the schools, I'll share the mind map. And these mind maps are very, very much related to the sustainable development goals, right? Each and every problem that is focused here is right now somewhere connected to the ground root problems of our community. And that is urgently or utterly required by our government or at a global level. So I request both of the schools to share this mind maps to all the students so they can identify various domains where the problems exist. Because I told you number of times, problem hoti hai, problem banai nahi jati, problems already exist, fine. So these are the areas where problem exists and we have to identify the problem, not to create the problem, right? So Praveen sir, thank you so much. And we will shortly meet you again.
Sure.
For another session.
I have given some projects to the students. I hope they work on that, or they are free to pick up any of the problem and work on that. So you can please share the mind map with the students and tell them to pick up at least one problem for here and think about an innovative solution. We will come to the next session once I know the students have taken some interest, and we'll tell them how to resolve this problem. Right?
Sure, sure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Everyone. Yes.
Thank you, Aruna ma'am. Thank you, Divya ma'am.
Thank you so much, Shakti ma'am, for organizing the session. Thank you, Praveen. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Yes. Thank you and all the best. Yeah. Thank you.